Dear God, as I come to you today, I ask for your divine intervention in our world. I pray for justice and mercy to be shown to all people, regardless of their race, ethnicity, religion, gender, or social status. Lord, you are a God of justice and righteousness. You have said in your word that you love justice and hate wickedness. You are a defender of the oppressed and a protector of the vulnerable. I ask that you would bring justice to those who have been wronged and oppressed, and that you would show mercy to those who have made mistakes. Lord, I pray for those who are suffering unjustly. I pray for those who have been victimized by discrimination, prejudice, and hate. I ask that you would comfort them in their pain and give them strength to persevere. I pray that you would bring justice to their situations and that their oppressors would be held accountable for their actions. Lord, I also pray for those who have made mistakes and are in need of mercy. I ask that you would give them the courage to confess their wrongs and seek forgiveness. I pray that you would help them to turn away from their sins and seek a new path of righteousness. Lord, I ask that you would help us all to have hearts of compassion and empathy. Help us to see the world through your eyes and to treat others as we would want to be treated. I pray that you would break down the walls of division and bring us together as one people, united in your love and grace. Lord, I know that justice and mercy are not always easy to find in this world. There are many who would seek to divide us and tear us apart. But I know that with you, all things are possible. I trust in your wisdom and your power, and I know that you can bring about the change we need to see in our world. So I pray that you would continue to work in us and through us, to bring about a world where justice and mercy reign. May we be your hands and feet in this world, working to bring healing and wholeness to those in need. Lord, as I continue to pray for justice and mercy, I also ask that you would give us the courage to stand up for what is right. Help us to speak out against injustice and to work for change in our communities and our world. Lord, I pray for those in positions of power and authority. I ask that you would give them wisdom and discernment to make decisions that are just and fair. I pray that they would use their power and influence to help those in need, and to promote equality and justice for all. Lord, I also ask for your guidance and strength as we navigate the challenges and struggles of this life. I know that there will be times when we feel overwhelmed and discouraged. But I trust in your promise to be with us always, to give us strength and courage to face whatever challenges come our way. Lord, I thank you for your unfailing love and mercy. I thank you for the gift of life, and the opportunity to make a difference in this world. Help us to use our gifts and talents to bring about positive change and to make a lasting impact in the lives of those around us. In closing, I ask that you would hear my prayer and answer it according to your will. Help us to trust in your goodness and your power, and to never lose hope in your promise of justice and mercy. Lord, I also ask that you would help us to be agents of reconciliation in a world that is often divided by hate and conflict. Give us the courage to bridge divides and to build bridges of understanding and empathy. Help us to see the humanity in others, even when we disagree with them, and to treat everyone with dignity and respect. Lord, I pray for those who have been wronged by the justice system. I ask that you would bring comfort and healing to their hearts, and that you would help us to work towards a system that is fair and just for all. Lord, I pray for those who are suffering from poverty and oppression. I ask that you would provide for their needs and give them hope for a better future. Help us to work towards a world where everyone has access to the resources and opportunities they need to thrive. Lord, I also ask for your guidance as we seek to build communities that are inclusive and welcoming. Help us to create spaces where everyone feels valued and respected, and where diversity is celebrated. Finally, Lord, I ask that you would help us to be patient and persistent in our pursuit of justice and mercy. Change often takes time, and there will be setbacks and obstacles along the way. But I trust in your promise that if we persevere, we will reap a harvest of justice and righteousness. Lord, I ask that you would also help us to confront and address the systemic issues that perpetuate injustice and inequality. Help us to recognize the ways in which our society is structured to benefit some at the expense of others, and give us the courage to work towards a more equitable and just world. Lord, I pray for those who are on the front lines of the fight for justice and mercy. I ask that you would protect and sustain them as they work to bring about change. Help us to support and uplift those who are doing the work of justice in our communities and our world. Lord, I also ask for your forgiveness for the times when I have been complicit in injustice and inequality. Help me to recognize my own biases and prejudices, and to work towards becoming a more compassionate and empathetic person. Give me the courage to speak out against injustice and to work towards a world that reflects your love and mercy. Finally, Lord, I ask that you would help us to hold on to hope even in the midst of darkness and despair. Remind us of your promise of a world where justice and mercy reign, and give us the strength and resilience to continue the work of building that world. Lord, I also pray for the victims of violence and oppression around the world. I ask that you would comfort them in their suffering and bring healing to their wounds. Help us to work towards a world where violence and oppression are no longer the norm, but where peace and justice prevail. Lord, I pray for the leaders of our world. I ask that you would give them wisdom and discernment to make decisions that promote justice and mercy. Help them to see the value and dignity of every human life, and to work towards policies that reflect that truth. Lord, I also ask for your help in addressing the root causes of injustice and inequality. Help us to recognize the ways in which our systems and structures perpetuate these issues, and give us the courage to work towards lasting change. Finally, Lord, I ask that you would help us to see the interconnectedness of all life. Help us to recognize that the well-being of one person or group is connected to the well-being of all. Give us the empathy and compassion to work towards a world where everyone can thrive. Lord, I also pray for the marginalized and vulnerable in our society. Help us to see and value the inherent worth and dignity of every person, regardless of their race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, or any other characteristic. Give us the courage to stand up for the rights of those who are oppressed, and to work towards a world where everyone is treated with respect and kindness. Lord, I ask that you would also help us to be humble and open to learning. Help us to recognize our own blind spots and biases, and to be willing to listen and learn from those who have different perspectives and experiences. Give us the humility to admit when we are wrong and to make amends for our mistakes. Lord, I pray for the families and loved ones of those who have been affected by injustice and oppression. I ask that you would bring them comfort and healing, and that you would help us to support and care for them in their time of need. Lord, I also ask for your guidance as we navigate the complexities of addressing systemic issues. Help us to approach these issues with compassion and understanding, and to work towards solutions that are both effective and equitable. Finally, Lord, I ask that you would help us to be agents of love and grace in a world that can be harsh and unforgiving. Help us to show kindness and compassion to all those we encounter, and to work towards a world that reflects your love and mercy. Lord, I pray for a world where justice and mercy are not just ideals, but are lived out in every aspect of our lives. Help us to see the connections between the issues of poverty, racism, inequality, and environmental degradation, and to work towards solutions that address the root causes of these issues. Lord, I ask that you would help us to be good stewards of the earth, recognizing that the health of our planet is interconnected with the well-being of all its inhabitants. Give us the wisdom to take actions that protect and preserve the natural world, and to live in harmony with the creatures and ecosystems that surround us. Lord, I also pray for a world where diversity is celebrated and appreciated, rather than feared or marginalized. Help us to recognize the beauty and value of difference, and to work towards a society where every person is free to be themselves, without fear of discrimination or persecution. Lord, I ask that you would help us to cultivate a spirit of generosity and compassion in our daily lives. Help us to see the needs of those around us, and to respond with kindness and generosity. Give us the courage to speak up for those who are marginalized, and to work towards a world where everyone can live with dignity and respect. Finally, Lord, I ask that you would continue to guide us as we seek to build a world that reflects your love and mercy. Give us the strength and resilience to continue the work of justice and compassion, even in the face of opposition or discouragement. Lord, I pray for a world where people are not defined by their mistakes, but by their inherent worth and potential. Help us to recognize that every person is deserving of love and respect, regardless of their past or present circumstances. Give us the courage to extend forgiveness and grace to those who have wronged us, and to work towards a world where second chances are abundant. Lord, I ask that you would also help us to cultivate a spirit of humility and self-awareness. Help us to recognize our own biases and prejudices, and to work towards personal growth and transformation. Give us the courage to confront our own flaws and limitations, and to seek out opportunities for growth and learning. Lord, I also pray for a world where every person has access to the resources they need to thrive. Help us to address the issues of poverty and inequality, and to work towards policies that promote economic justice and opportunity. Give us the vision to see beyond our own individual needs, and to work towards a world where everyone has the opportunity to live with dignity and purpose. Lord, I ask that you would also help us to cultivate a spirit of gratitude and thankfulness in our daily lives. Help us to appreciate the many blessings that surround us, and to cultivate a sense of awe and wonder for the beauty and goodness of the world around us. Finally, Lord, I ask that you would help us to be agents of peace and reconciliation in a world that is often characterized by conflict and division. Help us to be peacemakers, building bridges of understanding and compassion between individuals and communities. Give us the strength to resist the forces of hate and division, and to work towards a world where love and understanding prevail. Lord, I pray for a world where love is the driving force behind every action, every decision, and every interaction. Help us to recognize that love is not just an emotion, but an active choice to prioritize the well-being of others. Give us the courage to love even those who are difficult to love, and to work towards a world where love is the foundation of all our relationships. Lord, I ask that you would help us to cultivate a spirit of empathy and compassion in our daily lives. Help us to see the world through the eyes of others, and to understand the struggles and challenges they face. Give us the courage to step out of our own comfort zones and to stand with those who are marginalized and oppressed. Lord, I also pray for a world where every person is valued and respected for who they are, regardless of their race, gender, sexual orientation, or any other aspect of their identity. Help us to build a society where every person is treated with dignity and respect, and where diversity is celebrated and embraced. Lord, I ask that you would help us to be agents of change in our communities, working towards a world that reflects your love and justice. Give us the strength to stand up against injustice and oppression, and to work towards a world where every person can live with freedom and equality. Finally, Lord, I ask that you would continue to guide us as we navigate the challenges and complexities of our world. Help us to trust in your wisdom and guidance, and to be open to the leading of your Spirit. Give us the courage to take risks, to pursue our dreams, and to live with purpose and passion. Thank you, Lord, for your unwavering love and grace. I pray all these things in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.